Welcome to Protecting Your Business. My name is Sari Green, founder and president of Sage Data Security and host of today's program. Joining me is my colleague Joe Kurlansky of Sage. Glad to have you with us today, Joe.
Thank you, Sari, and thank you all for joining us.
Many of you watching this program use cash management services such as ACH or wire transfers to pay your employees or your vendors or your taxes or to transfer funds between various bank accounts. Today, we're going to be discussing criminal activity specifically targeted at online banking customers like you who use cash management services and how to protect your business. Now, no need to grab a pencil. Your bank has put together a guide to protecting your business. The guide includes information on how to protect your business, how to defend yourself against cybercrime, and if you are a target of cybercriminals, how to respond. Following these straightforward instructions will result in a safe and secure online banking experience. And we'll tell you how to get the free guide at the end of the program.
What's happening is that well-organized cybercrime syndicates are targeting small and medium-sized businesses, municipalities, nonprofits, and school districts across the country with the intent of gaining online access to bank accounts and then making fraudulent funds transfers. The map you see represents a fraction of the organizations that have fallen victim to these criminals. The dots represent small businesses, school districts, municipalities, even charities that have 10,000 to in excess of $500,000 stolen from their bank accounts. First identified in 2006, this crime has become so widespread that in 2011, the United States Secret Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and other organizations jointly issued a fraud advisory to businesses. They have labeled this type of crime corporate account takeover. We're all familiar with the impact of personal identity theft. Corporate account takeover is really corporate identity theft. The thieves steal either the business's online banking credentials or web session and then use that information to impersonate the business and initiate fraudulent banking activity, resulting in the loss of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rarely are the funds ever recovered.
It's very important to recognize that corporate account takeover attacks are not aimed at financial institutions. The attacks target account holders, and specifically the computers and the internet connections that are used to access online bank accounts. The criminals exploit known operating system and application vulnerabilities, as well as the inherent weaknesses of the internet. We often think of being on the internet as a very solitary experience, but in fact it is one of the most social experiences we have. Literally, we're connected to millions of other people, and unfortunately, some of them are looking to harm us. And what many organizations don't realize is that if a compromise occurs on their system, which then results in a fraudulent transaction, financial institutions are not liable for the loss of funds. Consumer accounts are subject to Federal Reserve Regulation E, which requires that banks provide reimbursement for certain losses. But Regulation E does not apply to business accounts, which means that banks are not required to provide reimbursement for certain losses, nor is this type of loss covered by FDIC insurance. Now, combating corporate account takeover, combating the criminals, it's a joint effort and it's a shared responsibility. It's the responsibility of the bank to implement and to offer security measures designed to mitigate the threat of corporate account takeover. But they can't do it alone. Since businesses use their own computer to log on to online banking, and it's the business computer that's being attacked, it's important that the business secure their system and take advantage of online banking controls offered by the bank, such as setting appropriate limits, dual controls, and configuring activity alerts. We're going to be discussing how to secure your system, but before we go there, Joe, can you tell us a little bit more about corporate account takeover?
Certainly. As we said earlier, the objective of corporate account takeover is to impersonate the account holder in order to steal money using ACH or wire transfers. To do this, the criminal must either compromise login credentials or the online banking session.
How do they do that?
Malware, short for malicious software, is software or script or code designed to disrupt computer operations, gather sensitive information, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems. Corporate account takeover attacks use malware crafted to steal online banking credentials by recording keystrokes or copying what is on the screen. The malware is programmed to connect back to a command and control center controlled by the bad guys to listen for and take instructions. Zeus and SpyEye are the two most common families of malware. Developed in Russia, criminals around the world have purchased or otherwise appropriated the source code and have continued to modify, upgrade, and customize the software. Zeus and SpyEye are known as man-in-the-browser or MIT-B malware. A MIT-B waits silently for a user to launch their browser, such as Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, or Safari, and then activates. The malware allows the criminals to see and track activities on the internal network and on the internet, and even control what you see in your browser. It is powerful and it is nasty. As a user, you don't even know it's there.
But of course, no one would ever voluntarily choose to install malware, so the question is, how does it get on your computer? It is astonishingly simple. The 4 most successful techniques used by the cyber criminals are to 1. Embed malware in an email attachment, perhaps a PDF or a Word document. 2. Configure an email link to connect your computer to a malware distribution site. 3. Get you to visit a website that auto-downloads the malware totally without your knowledge. Or 4. Tempt you to install a game, a greeting card, or an application, such as fake antivirus software that's really malware in disguise. The cyber criminal's goal is to get you to open the infected attachment or click on the link that's contained in the malware and visit the website. You know, the criminals need your cooperation. They are expert con men. They prey on basic human instincts such as our curiosity, our desire to please, and our fear of doing something wrong. They design unbelievably professional-looking emails and the websites that look 100% legitimate. And they often deliver very powerful messages, such as you've been served a subpoena or your computer is infected. Unwittingly installing malware can happen to anyone.
Sari, we've talked about what the malware is, how it can get on your computer, and what it can do. Can we take a big picture look at how a corporate account takeover works?
Certainly. Let's take a look at a 5-step process. So the criminals send seemingly innocent emails with a malicious attachment or link. And once the attachment is opened, or the link is clicked, the malware embeds itself inside the victim's computer. The next time the victims log on to their online banking website, the malware activates and records the victim's keystrokes, which gives the cyber criminals access to account numbers, passwords, and other logon data. The cyber criminal then uses this information to log into the online banking account, impersonating the account holder, and initiating and authorizing fraudulent ACH or wire transfers. One of the most successful techniques that criminals use is to send you a legitimate-looking email with a harmless-looking link. But links aren't always what they seem. All it takes is a couple of keystrokes to turn a hyperlink into a weapon. Using Microsoft Word, let me show you how they do it. Let's start with creating a hyperlink, www.goodplace.com. Clicking on the link, you would expect to be directed to the Good Place website. By right-clicking on the link, let's change the instructions associated with the link to instead redirect you to badplace.com, www.badplace.com, while still having it say www.goodplace.com. It's that easy. So bottom line, never ever click on a link in an unsolicited email. You know, it would be understandable if you're wondering, is online banking safe? Well, let me tell you, I own a business, I bank online, and I shop online. But I do so recognizing that there are risks and that I have a responsibility to safeguard my information and my computer systems. So let's talk about what you should be doing to defeat the cyber criminals. You know, the key to successfully defeating the criminals is to have a defense-in-depth model. Defense-in-depth means that you have a layer of safeguards so that you're not relying on any one control. Joe, what are some of the safeguards that our viewers can implement to protect their information systems?
Actually, Sari, there are simple and inexpensive steps they can take. Number 1, the workstation used for online banking, specifically cash management, ACH, and wire transactions, should not be used for general web browsing, email, or social networking such as Facebook. Best practice is to conduct online banking and payment activity from a computer that is not used for any other online activity. Why? Because by not web browsing, opening email, or going to social networking sites, you are cut off from most malware delivery channels, and the chance that your workstation will be compromised is drastically reduced. The cost of a workstation pales in the comparison to the money that can be lost. Number 2, don't respond to or open attachments or click on links in unsolicited emails. Number 3, install and maintain real-time antivirus and malware detection. Allow for automatic updates and scheduled scans. Number 4, install security updates to operating systems and all applications as they become available. These updates may occur weekly, monthly, or even daily. Number 5, do not use public internet access points such as internet cafes, public Wi-Fi hotspots, or airports to access accounts or personal information. Doing so may expose your information to anyone who's listening on the line. Number 6, be aware of any unusual activity on your computer, such as a dramatic loss of speed or changes in the way things appear, or if your computer locks up so that you're unable to perform any functions. Most importantly, be aware of any unexpected requests for a one-time password or token in the middle of your online session, or any other unexpected authentication messages. This is a sign that something may be wrong.
If you detect suspicious activity, immediately cease all online activity and remove any computer systems that may be compromised from the network. Disconnect the Ethernet cable and any other network connection, including wireless connections, to isolate the system from the network and prevent unauthorized access. Next, contact your bank so that the following actions can be taken. They will disable online access to the accounts. They will change your online banking password. They may ask you to open up new accounts as appropriate. And then they will undertake a review of all your recent transactions, electronic authorizations on the account activity, ensuring that nobody has added any new payees, requested an address or phone number change, created new user accounts, changed access to existing user accounts, changed your wire or ACH templates or profiles, changed PIN numbers, or ordered new cards, new checks, or any other documents that might be being sent to another address. And if there's a monetary loss, you should contact your regional Secret Service office as soon as possible. The Secret Service is charged with investigating financial cybercrime, and they are absolutely committed to responding. But you need to recognize that in all likelihood, they will not recover your funds, but the information you give them may be helpful for them to apprehend the criminals.
The criminals have the means and the motive. It is our job, all of us working together, to deny them the opportunity.
Online banking security is a partnership between you and the bank. Make an appointment today with your banker to learn more about the safeguards that the bank offers and to take advantage of all of the security options that are applicable to your business, including multi-factor authentication, transaction verification, dual controls, daily and weekly limits, and alerting. And make sure to monitor your accounts closely for unusual activity.
Recognize that sometimes you may need to sacrifice a little bit of convenience for a whole lot of security.
On behalf of Sage Data Security and your financial institution, we thank you for joining us today for the Cybercrime edition of Protecting Your Business.